Good evening. You're watching the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. Voters all over the Sultanate are to elect their representatives in the second term municipal council elections tomorrow. The Sultanate's government revenues fall in October 2016 by 25.5%. And at a cost of 7.5 million Omani Riyals, the central treatment and recycling plant is opened at the Sohar Industrial Port in the Governorate of North Balkana. Those were the headlines, and now the news in detail. Voters all over the Sultanate will tomorrow, Sunday 25th of December 2016, head to the ballot boxes to elect members of the Municipal Council for the second term. The Ministry of Interior affirmed that it has completed all preparations and ensured readiness to all committees that regularize the election at all wilayas in the Sultanate. The election centre, which will receive voters from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., have been provided with all equipment and facilities that make the elections process go easily and smoothly. The number of registered voters at the election registered for the second term stands at 623,224, including 333,733 male voters and 289,491 female voters. The number of candidates stand at 731, including 708 males and 23 females, out of which 202 of them will be elected. His Excellency Said Hamoud bin Faisal Al Busaidi, Minister of Interior, paid an inspection visit to follow up the progress of election process in the Wilayat of Madha in the Governorate of Musandam, which will start tomorrow morning. He toured the voting centers at An-Nasr School for Basic Education, which includes halls for male and female voters. His Excellency was accompanied by His Excellency Said Khalifa bin Al-Murdas Al Busaidi, Governor of Musandam, and a number of officials. His Excellency the Minister of Interior also visited the voting center at Asinaina School for Basic Education in the Governorate of Buremi to inspect the progress of elections in the Wilaya. He toured the voting centers and got acquainted with all the preparations to facilitate the election process, as well as the role of the main committee tasked with the follow-up of voting in the various election centers. His Excellency was accompanied by His Excellency the Under-Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, as well as a number of members of the main election committee, which with the presence of His Excellency the Governor of Buremi and the Wali of Sinaina. In preparation for the second term of Municipal Council's election, the media personnel from different countries arrived at the media center in the Intercontinental Hotel. More details in the following report by Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai.
In preparation for the second term of municipal election, the allocated media center at Intercontinental Hotel, journalists and media personnel arrives. With the arrival of media delegations from brotherly and friendly countries to participate in the coverage of the second term of the municipal elections, the readiness of the media center at Intercontinental Hotel Muscat is completed to keep up with the event by a number of media representatives from Arab, regional and international media organizations. It's worth mentioning that the center is fully prepared with all that is required to facilitate the work of the media personnel in a very smoothly way. All what is required is available at the center, and some of the journalists commended the facilities and said, Media Center is equipped with tremendous information about the conduct of elections, the fact that the center honors the entire Gulf states so as to provide its great potential to help the media men to perform their duty smoothly. Abdullah bin Ahmed Al-Rubai, Sultanate of Oman Television.
The Excellencies, the heads of the civil aviation in Arab countries and members of the Executive Council of the Arab Civil Aviation Commission and representatives of the International Civil Aviation Organization ICAO and Arab League, which participated in the 5th meeting of the HQs of the Public Authority for Civil Aviation hosted by the Sultan, sent a cable of thanks to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos on the occasion of the end of the Council's meetings for the current round. In their cable, they expressed utmost thanks and appreciation for the Sultan's hosting to this meeting, valuing the great role being played by the Sultan in supporting such events, which has a positive impact regionally and internationally. The participants prayed to Allah the Almighty to grant His Majesty good health, happiness and long life, and Oman peace, stability, progress and prosperity under the wise leadership of His Majesty. Still to come in the news bulletin. Tanfeed Support Unit reviews the outcomes of the National Program Workshop to enhance the economic diversification. Welcome back to the news from the Sultan of Oman Television. The Sultan's government revenue fell by 25.5% at the end of October 2016 to more than 5.5 billion Omani Riyals against 7.4 billion Riyals during the corresponding period in 2015, according to the statistics released by the National Center for Statistics and Information. The statistics attributed this to a 41% decline in Sultan's net oil revenue, which stood at more than 2.5 billion Riyals by the end of October 2016 against 4.6 billion during the corresponding period in 2015. The government total general expenditure declined by 8.6% at the end of October 2016 against to more than 9.5 billion during the corresponding period in 2015. The Ministry of Commerce and Industry, represented in Oil Products Clearance Department, indicated that the number of petrol filling stations which were opened from January 2016 to the last November reached 24 stations in various governorates of the Sultanate. The ministry added that a number of LPG gas stations clearances in the same period reached 11 clearances in the governorate of Muscat, Dakhiliya, North Batna, North Sharqiya and Brahmi, while the number of the industrial clearances which were registered in the Invest Easy portal reached 81 clearances in different governorates of the Sultanate, with a cost of around 9.3 million Omani Riyals from the period of April 2016 to the 20th of the current month. Sohar Industrial Port celebrated today the opening ceremony of the Central Treatment and Recycling Plant with a cost of 7.5 million Omani Riyals. Opening the plant came within the aim to monitor and organize the discharge of the industrial water which is produced by the companies and factories working in the port, and to provide any industrial water after recycling. The plant's production plant currently reaches 10,000 cubic meters of industrial water. Tanfeed Support Unit continued its meetings with the bodies concerned to implement the initiative of the workshop's outcomes, which was organized by the National Program to enhance the economic diversification, Tanfeed, with the presence of the representatives of the concerned sectors as well as the companies which will implement the project. It's worth mentioning that Tanfeed ended the third phase, which focused on discussing plans and aspirations for the national economy in the upcoming period through proposing future visions and solutions, aiming at supporting investments in promising sectors, reducing the contribution of non-oil activities in the gross domestic product of the Sultanate, and creating job opportunities for job seekers. The program witnessed wide participation from various segments of the society and a number of public and private establishments. It will proceed to the next phase, drawing the roadmap with regard to informing the public on what will be implemented in the upcoming period. Now for the general weather forecast around the Sultanate. Clear skies will prevail over most of the governorates with chances of low clouds and fog early morning and late at night along the South Sharqiya and Wusta. And winds will be northerly to northwesterly light to moderate, and seas will be slight to the maximum wave height of 1.25 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Voters all over the Sultanate are to elect their representatives in the second-term municipal council elections tomorrow. The Sultanate's government revenues fall in October 2016 by 25.5%. And at the cost of 7.5 million Omani Riyals, the central treatment and recycling plant is opened at the Sohar Industrial Park in the governorate of North Al-Batina. And with that, we come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, enjoy the rest of the weekend. Good night.